So I want to start by express my gratitude to all of you for being here, for making this forum a reality. This was an idea that I brought up to several people and got a very positive response. The Prime Minister, my boss, the Director of Health, and the Minister of Health, we've had a great collaboration on this together with the municipality of Reykjavik. And I think it's very important that we have a forum where we come together and talk about the challenges that we are facing when we talk about well-being economy. When I was preparing what I should pick to talk about, because this is really my passion, I came down to this question: what is really the end goal? Is it well-being, or is it money, or well-being? Both for individuals as well as for the society. So let's just ask this question. Ask yourself this question. What is most important for you in your life? What do you wish for your loved ones? And if I just ask you, if you had to choose between the two, what would you wish for your loved ones, money or happiness? So who would choose money above happiness? It's okay. But who would choose happiness above money? Who wish that for your loved ones? Yes. So what went wrong? I think Dalai Lama captured it quite well when he was asked what surprised him most about humanity. He answered, man, because he sacrifices his health in order to make money. Then he sacrifices money to recuperate his health, and then he's so anxious about the future that he does not enjoy the present. The result being that he does not live in the present or the future, he lives as he's never going to die, then he dies having never really lived. Whoa. And when I saw this and read this, does it have to be this way? Are we just on this road, on this train, and we're going to just die without having really lived? This is not what we want. We want to be happy, we want to be full of quality of life, and we want to have well-being, happiness in our lives and for our children and for the ones we love. So I started some 20 years ago studying what does happy people have in common. And one of the first studies that I looked at was from 1960s in the US, and they predicted those who are happiest, they have had the easiest life. Do you think that was the case? No, that hypothesis just completely failed, because among all of those 10% who were the happiest, they had been through some severe adversities. So that was something about facing maybe a health threat and challenges that woke them up, and they realized what really mattered. It's not money. It's not working too much. It's not the status. It's not what other people think. It's really enjoying life. And they got it, and they got this like happiness. So I thought, do we all need to get cancer or a life-threatening illness in order to really get happiness in our life? Or is it something that we can study further, and can we create an environment that increases happiness? So I said, where did we lose sight? It is not the economists just to blame. You see, there's the economist today was talking about well-being is the main goal. And in the beginning, Adam Smith is has been referred to earlier today. He said all constitutions of government are valued only in proportion as they tend to promote the happiness of those who live under them. This is their sole use and end. 790. This is not a new idea. So, and Thomas Jefferson as well. So where did it fail? Did it just fail with GDP? At least in the beginning of modern economy, the goal seemed to be clear, but then GDP came, and we know, and it has been referred to the criticism of GDP, the speech by Robert Kennedy has been referred to several times. He mentioned that GDP increases with a lot of things that are bad for the society. but that it does not increase with the health of our children, the quality of their education, or the joy of their play. It does not get the beauty of our poetry or strength of our marriages. And he said it measures everything in short except that which makes life worthwhile. Our Minister of Finance was not completely agree, but in a part. And I remember I was reading this around 2000. Okay, 30 years ago, he said this, and almost nothing has changed. But since then, we are 23 years later, a lot have happened. And we do have well-being economy governments now, several, and more focus on well-being measures. So I'm very optimistic, and I think we live in a very exciting times. There was another economist who has phrased it also the reason why our current macroeconomics do not serve human beings. He said it's in a nutshell the following: the means have become the ends. That is to say, what is supposed to be a means to deliver well-being, namely money, becomes the goal in itself. And how do we change that? This is one of the first reports I read on this topic, and I saw probably the term well-being economy for the first time. It's a report from the New Economy Foundation from 2003. They ask, what would politics look like if promoting people's well-being was one of government's main aim? They talk about economics as if people and the planet matter. They highlight 8 things that are important for governments to do. First, measure what matters, create well-being economy, reclaim our time. And we are fighting for that, working less, enjoying more life, but we can also enjoy life while we're working. Create education system that promotes flourishing, refocus health system. We've been talking about the health challenges. We're not gonna solve them with more healthcare staff. We need to go more upstream, that's for sure. Invest in very early years in parenting, discourage materialism and promote authentic advertising, and strengthen civil society, social well-being, and active citizenship. And let's start with the first one. What you measure affects what you do. It's so important. I think one of the reasons why we've been out of the track, we've been measuring wrong things. We've been focusing on wrong things. And as Joseph Stiglitz said, if you don't measure the right thing, you don't do the right thing. And maybe well-being economy will help us measuring the right thing. It's an economy that is designed with the purpose of serving well-being of people and the planet first and foremost. In doing so, it delivers social justice and a healthy planet. Well-being economy has been put us in 3 stages. It's about monitoring, prioritizing, and decision-making. And what we've been doing in Iceland, and we've been supporting this at the Directorate of Health, we monitor health and well-being monthly, and we report to the government when needed. We've been monitoring this for many years, and if I just should put the results in a nutshell, we see that there is less happiness and more loneliness. I started analyzing happiness data in Iceland 20 years ago. Then on this question, how happy are you with your life on a scale? We ask about happiness instead of life satisfaction from 1 to 10. Over 80% said they were answered from 8 to 10. Today, it's less than 60%. So that is a dramatic decrease. And when we look at the young people, there's even more dramatic change, and we're seeing less happiness. It has been mentioned that the impact of the economic crisis in Iceland on happiness and well-being. I just want to share a bit with you. This was my PhD, looking at how that impacted, and what the most surprising results was that when I found that there was an increase in happiness among teenagers after the collapse of our whole banking system. So, as I say, when GDP went down, people were working less, the happiness of the teenager went up. I looked at the factors that predicted happiness among young people most, and that was time spent with parents and getting emotional support from parents. So I'm going to show that bit. We were hoping that spending more time with their parents during COVID would increase their happiness, But as you can see, it has not. And we know that GDP went up from for example, then between 2010 and 16, GDP in Iceland went up, but we are seeing that the happiness did go down. So what happened with the time spent with parents? They've been spending more time with parents since we started measuring. So it's important to spend time with parents, but which is even more important is this emotional support, and that is decreasing. More and more young people are finding it difficult to get emotional support from their parents, and that is the biggest predictor of the measure that we got. So we need to think about, and I wish that this would be enough, that, you know, it's striking that the happiness of young people are going down and we need to do something. Because happiness, well-being is the most important factor. But even if we just think about economic terms, we can see that according to the HM Treasures Green Book that has been mentioned by Lord Layard and Carrie and others today, 1 point on a happiness or life satisfaction scale is valued at 13,000 Great British pounds per person per year. So even if the economic growth was the end, we need to take the happiness seriously, because unhappiness does cost the society. So what is needed to improve health, happiness, and well-being? We have to increase our knowledge about which factors to promote happiness and well-being in society. We can't wait until they just get mental disorder, anxious, and depressed. We need to go more upstream. We need to create society that supports happiness and well-being. It's not about being smiling all the time. It's about facing challenges in a constructive way. The most happy people had all been through difficulties. It's not trying to take all the difficulties away from young people. It's helping them to cope with them, to be resilient, so they can deal with it in a constructive way. I think that is our big challenge. And we need to look at the determinants of health and well-being, the ones that Alma mentioned and has gone through. And we need to look at the causes, and the causes of the causes. That is something that we need to look at. And we have to take into account that this is not just individual choice. It's not just up to me. Am I going to sleep enough, eat enough, or eat right? Or we need to create an environment that makes the healthy choices easy choice. We need to take all these levels into account. We need to act on all levels, on governmental level, community level, smaller levels, and with families. And of course, we need to take the responsibility ourselves. Together with my colleagues, I co-wrote this book, Creating the World We Want to Live In, How Positive Psychology Can Build a Brighter Future. And after each chapter, we have ideas for action for what is needed or possible to do at governmental level, community level, and then family level and individual level. I think that is the only way that we can really get any changes. We have a good example of that, for example, how we got youth drinking in Iceland from being the worst in Europe to the best. We did act on all levels. I've been involved with public health policies in Iceland, I think most of them, and we started probably the first one in 2008. And I just want to share with you what I've learned. In 2008, we worked only within the Ministry of Health. We made a great health policy about promoting health. And then we made an action plan. And I think maybe 75% of the actions was not on the responsibility of the Ministry of Health. Because health is not created just within the health system. It's created in the society where we live, work, love, and play. So we need to get every minister involved, every sector, if we want to make some changes in order to promote health and well-being. So the next step was to go to the Prime Minister's office, and they did take the lead on the public health policy that we developed in 2016. And now we have some collaboration. Now the 2021 public health policy was developed and worked at from the Ministry of Health in good collaboration with the Wellbeing economy, also work at the Prime Minister's office. I think that's the only way that we can do it. And Actually, it was, I think the idea for this forum came at a meeting when we were talking about how can we link the work of public health with the well-being economy, because we can't be working on that in silos. And then also I've worked together with my colleagues at the Directorate at the first public health policy by Reykjavik municipality and with our colleagues in Reykjavik. And this collaboration is the only way to go if we're going to make some difference. We need this international collaboration between sectors. We need Nordic collaboration and international. So it's a great report towards Nordic well-being economy by the Nordic Council of Ministers. And I would like to use the opportunity and thank the Nordic Council for Ministers. They gave us a grant for this economic forum and for developing a Nordic well-being economy network. And we will have the first meeting tomorrow. The Nordic countries do have a lot to offer in this journey to well-being economy. The Nordic countries are welfare states, but welfare states are maybe more in the protective and preventive dealing with, and well-being economy is the next steps. So we would like to take our experience of being a welfare countries and drive into the well-being economy, where we just take this a little bit further. So we have this solid ground for this welfare system, and we hope to get a good collaboration with all the other Nordic countries, together also with all the other countries who are interested. So now that I come to the end, I'd like to go back to the question, what is the end goal? And it's very simple, you all answered it. It's very easy where we ask, is it money or well-being? Of course it's well-being. And we have to get back on track where money is the mean to the well-being, but not vice versa. So thank you for being here. I'm very passionate of finding effective ways in correcting the systematic error. And I hope you sense the sparks around the room. There's all kinds of ideas. This room is full of passionate people. So I hope that we will continue the conversation, collaboration, and find a way to make the well-being the real end goal. Thank you so much.